Alright, time to get started here. Running a little bit late, got stuck in traffic, but I am here now. Gonna continue working on my Dark Tower Defense game here in gdevelop. Hopefully everyone's having a good night so far. What are we, Tuesday night? 2 days into the work week. Tomorrow's a halfway point though, we can make it. Alright, I'm opening Flowscape actually, so let's see. Gonna make a level background. You make this windowed. Yeah, and so I'm gonna make a background for a new level. I already have a couple backgrounds for sort of a volcanic level. I want to build one out for an icy type of level. And we'll see how it goes. Also need to fix a bug with my ice tower. So right now there's a bug where the projectile, the icicle, faces forward, but it delays before it fires. So right now it's shooting like that. So I'm going to work on that tonight. And then also build a new background. So it's loading up over here on my other monitor. As soon as that hurries up and loads, hopefully I can move it over. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna have to do this in OBS. Let me switch the screen. Alright, there we go. We now have Flowscape on the screen. Alright, I'm going to do what I can here. It's going to be a pretty short stream tonight, but I'm going to try to make it quality and productive. We part-time devs need all the time we can get to work on our projects. So let's see here. We want sort of an icy theme. Just picking a layout to begin with, and then I'll tweak it from there. Could just go flat at the start and then tweak some dials here. So we could do so there is ice. It looks really bad while it's loading. Let me double check something here. That is going crazy. It does not like it when I move the camera. So I'm just going to position the camera and then start working. Okay, right about there, I think. So I need to lock that in. And this is going to be Alright, so page up is to save the camera, and then page down to restore. So page up, we'll save it right here. And then we want I'm going to grab the terrain here. And I need to paint the height. It's too flat right now. So let's grab we have a couple different mask options. And so I think, so the lower the ground goes, it goes under the snow layer, which is a little bit odd. So, a couple of ways we could play with this. It's kind of annoying that it paints while I'm using the UI here. Okay. Giving me just a little trouble here. I need to get out of this, and then if I go back to the scene editor here, I'm going to reset, and then I just want to create a new pathway for the enemies to track toward the end. So right here we can change how reflective the water is. I don't really want a lot of water because it's going to be a screenshot and it's not going to be moving. So, and I also don't necessarily want it to be daytime. So I would say minimal reflection. Then again, the ground height really not loving the way that this is working. So might have to reconsider how some of this is done. Because what I want to do is just throw some stuff on the scene, like get some rocks, throw them out there, and then drop snow on them. So let's just paint some rocks out here at random. It's painting really slowly. So I'm just going to zoom out so I can see some of these objects. They're really large. And some of these would be more ideal for like, you know, like a world map as opposed to a single level. But I could always just take one of these, drop it in there, and then if I bring that upward, there's always the option of just kind of using a piece of this scene. And it really just needs to look good enough for what's basically a top-down game. But I'll have to find out how smooth I can make it. Just gotta find a decent spot here to position the camera. Hopefully everyone's having a decent Tuesday evening. We're almost halfway through the week, so we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it, people. Anyways, once I get this into the game tonight, here pretty shortly, then I'm going to work on my ice tower. There's a little bug with its icicle projectile. I'm going to get that working, get this map into the game. It'll be kind of like the entry point to the icy levels. Now, I could even have it where we see the background a bit, like up in here. You wouldn't necessarily place towers back there in the game, but yeah, that is a possibility. I wonder how it lets me drop, if I can actually drop objects on this, or if they're just going to fall underneath. They might just fall underneath. No, it does let me place them on there, so that's good. Yep, gonna get this over into gdevelop, and then gotta start squashing some bugs. Alright, I'm gonna have to play around with this. Let me just kind of take this as like a temp background for now. Because this editor works pretty well for the more temperate zone and like desert and arid zones. I'm not seeing a lot of customization for the ice. All right, let me save this location here, and then let me change the overhead light. Just tweak the position of the sun here. All right, just something like that. Let me just grab this and let me just get it into the game. If I like it, then I'll probably come back here and add like some more clutter and junk. But if I'm not going to like it, then I don't want to invest any more time in it. Just have a pretty short evening here. So let me make sure I've got my camera settings. I need it to be a low resolution. Can only have up to 15 megs per sprite. So there's that. And let me go pull that in. Let me change the desktop as well. Going back to gdevelop. Okay. Just hunting down that screenshot, then I'm going to put it over here and see if it works. There's one other thing too. We don't really have any kind of path on that scene for the enemies, but we'll figure that out. Okay, I think I found it. So here we go. Let's go to the ground object, ground background. Right here. Let's just add an animation to that. Add sprite. And let me get this. Should be that one right there. All right, so that is animation on number 5. So let me set that. All right, now if I were to preview that, let's see what that looks like. Oh, I need to change it in the game as well. So the global variable for the level, that needs to be level, I don't even know right now. Let's say 6, I think. So 0 through 5 would be 6. Go into the scene events here. So here we'll just copy one of these, paste it down. So if it's equal to 6, then we want to load this particular animation. Just checking my audio level there. Alright, so somewhere I changed the animation of the ground image. Change the number of the ground image to global level, so that's right there actually. So if that's the case, then I think we actually do want to set the level to 5. So if I just preview that, okay, there's that image. So that could work. I could see that working. Then we'd be building towers on it here and there. The size is a little off because there's no scale. And then I need to find a path for the enemies to walk along. But we could maybe do that. So for now, what I'll do is work on that ice tower. So I'm going to navigate down to the ice tower. Right about here. So let's double check some stuff. The icicle, which is called Bullet Ice, that has the face forward behavior with no offset and an immediate rotation speed, but it appears to not be immediate, and that's the bug I need to fix. So with that being the case, let me check that box. Let me see if that checkbox did anything for us. And let me also change one other thing here. Not sure where my enemies are spawning at the moment, so that's kind of annoying. Okay, so that checkbox did not fix anything. The icicles are still delaying before they point forward. So let's figure out why. So this is where it's creating the bullet right here. And it's creating the bullet by firing it from the tower head ice at the position of tower head ice, center X and center Y, toward position nearest enemy. Nearest enemy X and nearest enemy Y. Okay, that seems fine. It doesn't seem to have any trouble with the targeting. And then I change the scale. And then I am creating a particle emitter and a light at the position of the bullet X and Y at the center, and I'm sticking those to the bullet and setting a Boolean for the hasLight variable. So it's interesting that it's not working, because it seems like I don't get that behavior from other face forward behavior objects. For example, these leaves have the exact same behavior, and they, as far as I can tell, are spawning immediately facing forward. And they're also being fired the same, so it's the same creation mechanism. Let me see if there's any difference in how those are being generated. So I'm going to move, what is that, the leaf? Behavior face forward, 0, 0. It has destroy outside, fire bullet behavior, and that's about it. So I really am not sure. Let me look at the actual image. So this image is like this. And so I believe the right side is considered forward. So this would be the front. If I go to points, that origin point is somewhere in the middle. So if I go over to my icicle, you know what? I think I just found the problem. It's not even programmatic. It's the freaking animation. So problem solved. All right, let's flip these then. Let me go into here. I think they all need to be facing to the side, like I just mentioned. So that is annoying, but simple, and I'm glad I found it. So let's rotate those. Now I can reposition all of these at once or one at a time, but not just a handful, I think. So just click through these real quick. A much simpler problem than I thought, but that's a good thing. Harimal Malaya, how you doing this evening? I'm not sure I said your name right, but how's your Tuesday going? Hello to you too. Just working on ice level here. There we go. Now the icicles are shooting forward like the pointy objects they are. So I disabled damage, of course. Next I need to probably re-enable the damage, but I also want to add a freeze to the enemies whenever they get hit. So let's do that. Just a few minutes left here. It's a really quick little stream. So I need basically like a transparent ice block or something. I don't have one of those picked out, but what I can do is add a variable to the enemies. Let me see, what is this pointing at? It's pointing at the backers, which is good. So I guess I'll add a variable to the backer. So let me do that real quick here. So we'll do add variable, we'll call it frozen. That'll be a Boolean. And apply. In fact, I might be able to do this in the group. Let me see if I can. Add variable here, yeah. Frozen as a Boolean, false, and apply. And then let's see. Here in the events, we'll go to wherever the ice, the bullet ice, aka our icicle, collides with an enemy. Should be right up here. And what I'm going to do is tell it if it's been hit by an icicle, then we're going to apply a freeze. Now later, depending on like the element type, you know, the fire enemy might have a resistance to the freeze kind of thing. But for now, I'm just going to get it basically into the game. Right here. So let me change that color. That should be a different color. So next, so right here, if the enemy backer distance, let's re-enable this. And right now it's within 100 pixels. So right now I have it applying damage. That's easy. I don't need that right now. I will tell it to delete the ice, and I'm going to have it change the Boolean variable of that enemy. So let's do that. So that would be an object variable of the enemy backers group, and it is the frozen variable, and we're going to set it to true. So if that variable is true, let's see here. I'm gonna need to add a sub event here. Okay, I'll add the sub event right here. So if that's true, we're gonna need to do a check for that variable. So for each of these enemies, let's check the variable. I cannot spell tonight. Of the enemy backers, the frozen variable is true, then think that I need to disable their pathfinding behavior. Okay, so I'll actually have to do it on the other part of the enemy, the particle emitter. So right here I need to actually do a check. So let's see. I need to check for the enemy backer is stuck on the particle emitter. When I say all of these things out loud, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense to people. It's just the way that I've named some items. And so my enemies are in two parts. There's an invisible part that has a collision, and the part that we see is actually a particles emitter, which I don't do a lot of checks on. But in this case, I do need to tell the particle emitter to stop pathfinding. So enemy backer is stuck to enemies, the group. Then we're going to disable the pathfinding behavior on that enemy. And at the moment, it's just going to, it should just end it forever for them. So let me see, let me double check the other pathfinding portion of my events here and see if they're going to, I don't want it to overwrite this little function here. So let me go back upward. And again, just a pretty short little stream here tonight, just doing some work on my ice level, my ice tower, and fixed a bug. Had an issue with the icicle animation. It was pointing the wrong way on a couple of frames, which was pretty goofy. Okay, let's just test this out. I'm pretty sure it's going to be overwritten in a single frame. But what I'm testing is for enemies that get hit to basically stop pathfinding. Oh, and it turns out they are stopping. So the freeze is technically working. They are permanently frozen. We've got permafrost. So that's good. Now I'll probably put a timer on them and say, like, you know, if after like 1 second, well, after 1 second or so, they can be unfrozen, something like that. So let me add that check in here. And then maybe even add like an effect so we can see it. Not sure how much time I have for that, but maybe on the next stream. I'll be streaming again on Thursday, so I'll pick right up from where I leave off tonight on Thursday. And hopefully I'll be on time on Thursday as well. Okay. Minutes. It's the final countdown, people. How's everyone's Tuesday going so far? Hopefully you have fewer bugs than I do. I can say that much. Okay, so if the variable frozen up enemy with backers is true, then we're going to disable the pathfinding behavior here. I think I need to start a timer countdown right here. I'll say so. Let me try that. So let's do a timer. This will be an object timer of we'll call it Frozen, the movie, and then let me do another sub event here. So if the variable frozen is true, and then also if that timer is greater than or equal to 1 second. So object timer, value of the enemy backers, and that will be frozen, greater than or equal to, let's just give it 1 second. Paste this other condition as well. And set that to yes. So let's see if this works. And hopefully it does, because I'm just about out of time here. They should unfreeze now. There's, I guess, one issue though. The ice tower is going to shoot too often. So let me change that. And then we're going to test it. Okay, right here. So I think I actually need to add a timer here. Why is it shooting? Where did I set the fire rate? The rate of fire for this thing? This would be... So we've got the number of bullets, unlimited ammo, bullet speed is set in the program. Okay, reload duration is 1 second. That might be what I'm working with here. Let me set that to 5. And preview. Okay, I'm gonna send in some enemies, and we're gonna see if we can freeze just, well, at least one of them, and see if it becomes unfrozen. It looks like it is working. They're trying to unfreeze. My tower's still shooting too fast. I need to change that, but they are unfreezing after 1 second, it looks like. So... and then they're behind each other there, but they're not dying. They're just getting frozen for a second, and then they're unfreezing. So that is progress. That is a minor goal accomplished in my very short stream tonight. So when I come back on Thursday, I'm going to come straight back here, and I'm going to work on the ice attack ability, and maybe add some, frozen ice crystal-y stuff, some effects to make it visually strike that you actually froze the enemy there. And then similarly, on the other side, we have an ice enemy that is going to freeze our towers, and that's already implemented, so I'm going to work on that as well. So I hate to cut the stream short, but I'm going to go for the evening, and I hope you all have a great one. So until next time, I'll catch you later, and I hope you have fewer bugs than I do. Thanks.